Alrighty, now, if there has been an ever-present name when it comes to the MCU behind the scenes, well, it has been Victoria Alonso. Now, for those of you who don't know, Victoria Alonso has been the executive vice president for the MCU for quite some time now. And some of you might have seen her name in movie credits like the Iron Man and subsequent movies that follow, all of the Avengers and every movie in the MCU franchise. Now, Victoria Alonso is somebody who's a feminist, who's a strong advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the MCU movies. Now, she's very, very popular and famous for actually saying that the X-Men name is outdated. Now, according to her, she said, quote, "I don't know where the future is going," Alonso told Nuke and Fridge when promoting the Captain Marvel home series. "It's funny that people call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female heroes, or should I say heroes, in the X-Men group, so I think it's outdated." She also came out more recently to clarify why they changed the name and the character of Namor, because we know in the name of diversity and inclusion, they changed a white character from the comics into a person of color in the movies, changing the name as well from Namor to Namor. And this was her explanation. Victoria Alonso clarifies Namor's name in the MCU is pronounced Namor and derives from El Niño Sin Amor, which translates to the boy without love, a totally ridiculous origin name for that villain, if you would actually call him that, because in that particular movie, when it comes to Black Panther Wakanda Forever, spoiler alert, all of the people of color in that movie were not villains or bad. The only bad people in that movie were the white people that were dealt with, particularly in the beginning of the movie, and that was that. So in any case, this woman, with all of the push for diversity and inclusion, promising that she was going to continue her efforts in pushing for this diversity and inclusion in the MCU, raising the hopes of the woke mobs on Twitter and elsewhere. And now, shocker, Marvel Studio veteran Victoria Alonso exits, or shall I say fired. She got fired in my opinion, but anyway, let's just go with the flow and just say that she exits. Now, I want to go over this story because there are some speculations out there and some rumors as to why she's being caught out, and I'm going to share my opinion regarding that as well. Please feel free to share your opinion in the comment section below. Now, without further ado, here we go. Victoria Alonso, the longtime and high-profile Marvel Studio executive whose time with the company dates back to the first Iron Man, has left the studios, multiple sources told The Hollywood Reporter. The reasons for the exit are unclear, but she parted ways with the Marvel on Friday, sources says. Well, even if the reason is unclear, you don't need a magic wand to know that her reasons will probably lie, if I'm speculating, in the reasons of the monies, the cheddars, the dineros that are being lost by Disney in recent times. But that's just me speculating. I don't have any sources to actually confirm that. But in any case, Alonso had been with the company since earliest days of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, establishing an enviable 17-year run and watching the studio grow from operating above a Mercedes-Benz dealership in Beverly Hills to being acquired by Disney. During her tenure, the MCU became the highest-grossing franchise in film history. And why was that? Well, in my opinion, it's because they stuck to the source material that people already loved, and they stuck to the IPs as they were created by Stan Lee, Avi Arad, and the likes of them. However, as things started to change and they started to push agenda, identity politics, instead of actually sticking to the source materials and giving us good storylines, what happened? I think they started to tank a little bit, but that's just my opinion. Let's continue. Alonso joined the studios in 2006 as chief of visual effects and post-production and helped launch the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a co-producer on 2008's Iron Man. She also served as a co-producer in Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America, just like I've mentioned before. The first Avengers 2011, Alonso was the upper executive producer on the Avengers 2020, the landmark film that grossed $1.5 billion and took Marvel to new heights, proving that the concept of a shared cinematic universe could really work, provided you stuck to the source material. It was just so easy. It was served to you on a plate. But what did you do? You decided to change everything and push a gender instead. Alonso has served as executive producer on Marvel's subsequent releases and also worked on its Disney TV series in 2021. She was promoted to president, physical and post-production, visual effects and animations production, to which those people that work in that particular department allegedly have been complaining lately that they've been underpaid and overworked, hence why we are seeing some of the visual effects in the Marvel Cinematic Universe like the Ant-Man that were really bad, and a lot of people have been complaining about that. Not to also mention the fact that Disney Plus, that she was actually promoted to the president of the physical and post-production visual effects and animation production, has just lost 2.4 million subscribers in this first quarter of this year alone. So like I said before, cheddars and dineros, cheddars and dineros. Last year, she was also the producer of the Oscar-nominated international feature Argentina 1985. Now, that's neither here nor there, in my opinion. Her departure comes in the shadow of the Ant-Man and the Wasp's Quantumania's poor show at the box office and amongst critics and fans. Like, to say that Ant-Man had poor showing at the theaters is actually complimentary to Ant-Man movie, as it is currently tracking to lose money, pretty much like many of the movies that came out from the MCU Phase 4, aka MCU Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Take, for instance, Black Widow lost money. It had a budget of about $200 million and it only made $379 million in comparison. That's 1.9 times the amount that was invested in it. Now, for many of you who may not know, you may think that's profit, but for any movie in Hollywood to actually make profit, they need to make 2.5 times the amount that was invested in them. So Black Widow lost money. So did Eternals. It had a similar budget of $200 million, only made $400 million as well, which means it only made 2 times the amount that was invested in it, so it lost money as well. And Shang-Chi, one of the biggest ones that they boast about, made $432 million, although $150 million were invested in it. Shang-Chi made 2.9 times the amount that was invested, so that's the only movie on record that has actually made profit amongst all of these movies that the storylines were changed. Bar Spider-Man No Way Home, that is not fully owned by Marvel, and another movie in Multiverse of Madness that people watched as a result of goodwill spilling from Spider-Man No Way Home, plus Black Panther Wakanda Forever, that they actually profited off of the fact that people were sentimental of Chadwick Boseman and wanted to see how they would handle that situation. Was very good marketing from Kevin Feige in using Chadwick Boseman as a point of reference to actually get people to watch it. And I knew that's exactly what they did, because I was one of the suckers that actually fell for it. Now, when it comes to Victoria Alonso herself, do I feel sorry for her? Absolutely not, because I'm pretty sure that Amazon might just go ahead and hire her and tell her to handle Lord of the Rings of Power.
Really, nigga?
Now, when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe themselves, or Disney as a whole, in the action of firing Victoria Alonso is too little too late, in my own personal opinion, because people have already formulated their opinions regarding all of these movies that are coming out, and even that opinion is starting to spill into other superhero movies from other franchises like the DCEU universe, like the Shazam that's just come out now. People are just sick of it because they're not expecting anything good from it, even though from what I gather, it seems like it's better than the Ant-Man movies, but people just aren't going out there to watch it. So to me, this action is too little too late, and it's going to take a whole lot of years and a whole lot of redoings to actually change people's minds. And by then, the MCU fans will be just as apathetic as the Star Wars fans.